Hey, what's up guys, it's Axel, and today we're checking out the Kiwi Septet. This is a 7-driver open back IM. Yes, it has 7 drivers in a quad-bridge design, meaning it has 4 different types of drivers. Driver configuration is 1 10mm dynamic driver, 4 balanced armatures, 1 microplanar, and 1 PZT driver. So that adds up to 7 drivers, hence the name Septet. And they are all packed in a very small metal shell, 5-way crossover, 3 sound tubes. And on top of all of that, it's also open back, and we'll get to that in a bit. Price-wise, these are sitting around $269. And let's start by talking about what you get in the box. All right, so what's inside the box? This is the box of the Kiwi Septet. And as you open it, of course, you find the logo. And if you open the box, and then you'll find 2 earpieces. And this is how the faceplate look like. Beautiful faceplates. I will get to that more in a second. And after that, you do get the Kiwi Ears manual. There are instructions inside, you know, how to wear the IMs and so on. And then you find this beautiful zipper carrying case, which is small, pocketable size. You can carry it in your pocket. And inside that case, you'll find this beautiful modular cable that has a brown color, and this cable is amazing. This is probably the best cable by Kiwi Ears. It's very soft, it's very supple, it wraps easily, the chin slider works, it never tangles with me, it doesn't have a memory. It's a very soft cable, and the colors match the faceplates beautifully. And then you get, of course, 3 pairs of narrow bore silicone ear tips and other 3 pairs of wide bore silicone ear tips in 3 different sizes, and these are the modular terminations for that modular cable. And yeah, that's basically it. This is the unboxing experience. I think it's really nice at this price point. Basically, it's got everything you need. Now, let's talk about the build, and let me guys show you a close-up of the faceplate. This is how the faceplate of the IM looks like. Now, the whole shell right here is actually made out of metal. It's made out of aluminum alloy, so it's lightweight, but it feels solid, and it's also small. Like, this is a compact shell. Look at that. Like, they crammed 7 drivers into this tiny shell. You know, that's impressive in my opinion. The faceplate is open back, so it does leak some sound, and there is a Kiwi Ears logo in the center. You also get 2 vents on the shell, like one center vent right here, and there's another vent right here. So basically no pressure buildup issues, and it also does have a small black metal nozzle that actually looks super cool. Like, more IMs should do this. I think black nozzles look super cool. Again, there's also a nozzle lip, proper lip to hold onto your ear tips, keep them in place. And the surprise here is that the nozzle is actually small. It measures 5.6 millimeter at the widest point. So this is a very small nozzle. So in terms of comfort, I will say for me, comfort was excellent. Basically, they fit securely, they sit really well, they seal well, and I had no issues even after long listening sessions. Basically, everything that, you know, that comes to fit and comfort is really nice. You get, you know, adequate ventilation, you get a small size, you get a small nozzle, you know, so basically in terms of fit and comfort, thumbs up from me. So first, let's look at the frequency response graph, and let's break down the sound of the Kiwi Septet. So basically, the Septet here leans into, you know, kind of a bright neutral tuning. You got a clean sub-bass boost, you got a flat lower mids, you do get a smooth, slightly relaxed upper mids, a bump in the mid-treble, and you do have a well-extended upper treble. How would I describe the sound signature of the Septet? I would say it's a detail-focused sound signature. It's a detail-oriented IM. It has a great sub-bass, you know, good rumble, a very nice presentation when it comes to the mid-range. It's not shouty, it's not harsh. The lower treble or the mid-treble might be a bit bright, but the upper treble is nicely extended without being too much. And overall, it feels open. This is a spacious-sounding IM. This is really an open-sounding IM. Amazing stage, and the layering is amazing. And let me break it down further. Let's start with the bass first. All right, this is the bass. I will describe the bass here as clean and sub-bass focused. It's not a bass headset. This is not for bass heads. I would say this is tight, it's clean, it's well controlled. There is a good amount of rumble, and there is some thump going on here. It's not a bassy set, especially when it comes to the mid bass, but the overall sound is sub-bass focused. It's great. Think quality over quantity here. For hip-hop and EDM, I did find it to be satisfying because of that sub-bass boost, but it's not gonna thump like crazy when it comes to the mid bass. What it does really well here is the sense of texture in the bass, the sense of separation. Like, for example, listening to Chimera by Polyphia, the way the bass lines come through is just beautiful. They're well separated. They're well-defined attack. It has a sharp definition. So that's really nice in terms of the bass. The bass also doesn't bleed into the mids either, which kind of helps with the clarity. And for me personally, I kind of prefer a bit more mid-bass for what it is going for. I found it to be clean and enjoyable. Onto the mids here. The mids here are clear. They are really balanced. The vocals have a nice sense of body. And despite that sense of mid bass that's going on here, it's not actually lean or anything. There is actually a good sense of body in the mid range, and the vocals are not shouty, and they're not recessed or laid back. They're just nicely placed. So the mids, they do sound clean, they do sound detailed, they do sound separated, and again, despite that clean bass, the note weight is actually good. It doesn't sound too clean. Acoustic instruments and vocals have a natural tone, no peaks or dips. So basically, male and female vocals sound natural, clean and detailed, and the instruments have a good sense of body, without being like thin or thick. It's just tastefully done, smooth and enjoyable. And now it's time to talk about the treble. I will say here the lower treble is well controlled. There's no harshness, which is great. Instruments have a nice sense of bite and clarity without sounding sharp or fatiguing. Acoustic instruments in particular have this sense of bite and presence, so they kind of sound forward and clean without ever sounding harsh, and I really like that. That mid treble, though, is boosted, okay, so it comes across as bright. And there is even some emphasis sometimes on the S letter, depending on the track and the volume. Listening to the Kiwi Septet, I noticed that sometimes that mid-treble can come across as a bit bright or a bit intense, especially if you're talking about rock and metal or any tracks that kind of like emphasize that, region in the treble. I would say if you're treble sensitive, this might not be your thing. The upper treble, though, is fantastic. It adds a nice sparkle, nice space. It does feel airy without being too much or overly crisp, It's not overdone, it's not splashy, and I really appreciate that. It just lifts everything up, gives the sound a nice, airy, open presentation. Now, let's talk about the technical performance for a second. This is also one of the things I feel the Septet really does really well. The detail and separation here are amazing. Like at this price point, it delivers, and it delivers really well. It's a strong IM. Like I said, it's a detail-focused IM, detail-oriented. Micro details come up through effortlessly, and, it still maintains a great sense of separation. Even when the track gets busy, maintains that clean and open sound, when things get busy in the mid-range. Instruments have room to breathe, so to speak, and the whole stage feel wide and spacious. Soundstage is one of the things that this IM does really well. Like, you listen to this IM, and frankly, guys, like sometimes you even notice, especially if you're listening to live recordings or maybe you're watching movies with it or something, you notice, especially the treble is coming across, like it sounds really wide, like it's coming across well layered, and it's coming across like in specific points in the sound field, and that can make it sound very immersive because it does sound open, it does sound spacious. And I noticed the treble is more spacious than the rest. Like cymbals, high frequency percussion, a lot of those high frequency sounds kind of sound wide, and they're actually very nicely layered, and they're positioned accurately in the sound field. So the imaging is impressive as well. It's above average for sure. And the sound stage and the layering is genuinely impressive. And this is one of the areas where I feel the Septet really does something unique and amazing here. Let's start the comparison segment, and I will start first with the Kiwi Quintet. And now I don't have the Quintet on hand to do a direct A-B comparison, but from what I can tell you is I feel the Septet has a noticeably better timbre. It's definitely one of the areas where I feel the Septet has improved over the Quintet. All right, let's start the comparison here with the Kiwi Aether. I really like the Aether. It's a fantastic value, right? The Aether is a really nice IM from Kiwi. Now, the first thing I noticed when I listened to the Aether was the bass. The bass was a bit more pronounced and a bit more satisfying, because of that planar driver. The mids are also a bit more forward on the Aether. The Septet, on the other hand, leans brighter, and with that brightness also comes extra detail. It has even better separation. It's more technical overall, and the soundstage is even wider and more open than the Aethers, and that's saying something because the soundstage of the Aether is really great. So for the Septet to beat that, is really impressive. All right, so this is the Kiwi Ears Astral. This is a fun comparison. The Astral has a similar bass profile to the Septet, but it's more vocal forward. It has less lower treble, which I actually prefer. I like the tamer lower treble on the Astral, while the Septet is better when it comes to upper treble control. Both have great mids, but when it comes to the detail, when it comes to the separation, the Astral is a bit better here. It's stronger when it comes to that sense of separation and resolution. It's also a better choice if you are sensitive to lower treble, as long as that you are okay with an upper treble boost. That said, the Septet also has great level of detail, and it even has a wider soundstage and more open layering. Last comparison is going to be against the Moondrop Illustrious. The Illustrious is an open back IM, so it actually lets in more outside noise, and it also does have a noticeable sub-bass roll-off. Compared to the $900 or almost $900 Illustrious, I feel the Kiwi Ear Septet, which is less than a third of the price, has better soundstage, has a lot more bass, it has better technical performance. The Septet's bass is tighter, it's more controlled, there is more rumble on it, and it's actually the bass even is more detailed and nuanced. It also has better separation and clarity in the mid-range, even though the Illustrious has the more forward vocals. The Illustrious is a bit better in one area, which is the tamer lower treble, but I feel the Septet's upper treble is more airy, is more extended. While the upper treble on the Illustrious can feel a bit relaxed, the Septet also has a better soundstage and a more open presentation. In terms of detail and separation, I feel the Septet is a lot better as well. It's a step above, and even with the brightness, I gotta say I enjoyed the Septet more, which kind of says a lot. Who is the Septet for? In my opinion, I would say that I recommend it for people who are looking for an open back IM. You might want to check this out, If you're looking for an open back IM, there aren't a lot of open back IMs out there, and this is one of the nice choices you can check out. Number two, if you're into detail, separation, strong technical performance, I feel the Septet will actually impress you in that area. I also recommend it for people who are looking for a clean sub-bass focus tuning that doesn't bleed into the mids. This is an example. And people who like stage, who like, open back design, open back sound, especially if you're listening to live recordings and layer tracks. I also recommend it for people who are looking for a solid metal build, compact shell, slim or small nozzle, and one of the nicest cables from Kiwi Ears with great fit and comfort. This is an option. Yeah, for people who like a bit of brightness in their mid-treble, or they don't mind it and they value the open back presentation and the technical performance, this could be actually a hidden gem for you. Now, who isn't this for? Number one, obviously, if you're sensitive to brightness in the treble, especially in that mid 6 to K region, this might feel a bit too much for you. This is also not ideal for bass heads or people who want lots of mid bass. The bass here is clean and textured, but it won't deliver that heavy slam. And if you're looking for warm, rich, or lush mids, again, this doesn't have that. So yeah, that's it for this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. If you tried the Septet yourself, I would love to hear your impressions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.